Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming. First of all, I want to acknowledge our Minister of Transport and Infrastructure Development, Honorable Felix Mona, who is with us in spirit. And as you all know, that there is another diary that's there where they are partaking the road infrastructure projects. He could have been with us, with his Permanent Secretary, Engineer Makumbe. And I know, like she has said, that we've got the Vice Board Chairperson, Madam Bunu. We've got, I think they've been introduced, Ms. Matopo, the Chairperson of the Finance Committee, and Engineer Amos, the Chairperson of the Technical and Operations Committee. Obviously with the CEO, with his executive team, Mr. Mube. I'd like to acknowledge the presence and attendance of you guys from the fourth estate, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and especially the partnerships we have had in this new ZINARA. You have been professional, efficient, and factual in reporting matters to do with ZINARA in our rebranding journey. We've had positive and negative stories, but what we are happy about is that 95% of them have been factual, which means that it's different from the yesteryear whereby we were not giving information to you. And as you know that today I'm pleased to present to you an update on ZINARA as the state enterprise responsible for the administration of road user fees for the purposes of road infrastructure maintenance. I'm just going to give a broad update covering an overview of our operations in 2023 and the plans that we have. After giving the CEO now go into the operational aspects. But like we said, that the new ZINARA is based on transparency, and we've called this meeting. I would urge you all to feel free and ask whatever you may want to ask, but this is the purpose of this meeting. And I know that you are the people who take this to our stakeholders. So please feel free to, it's a no-hold, feel free. If you remember our pledge when we were appointed as a board, we promised the nation that we shall take this national branding or this ZINARA rebranding journey with the transparency it deserves, which was a departure from the past whereby, we had the bad boy tag for our alleged misdemeanors and which the brand was associated with. I want to take this opportunity to thank the ZINARA board, management and staff for also making your sustained efforts to ensure that we go towards this vision. We know we were given the mandate to collect the road user funds, but we are cognizant that these funds belong to the generality of Zimbabweans, and it is our duty to handle them with probity and propriety. And this is the reason why today we'll be presenting whatever we say we've gotten last year and what we're doing for. In the journey so far of this transparency issue that we talk about ever since we last met, we are proud to tell you that from the issues that were in the forensic audit report, if you remember the Grant Thornton report, whereby the Public Accounts Committee from Parliament came up with 63 issues that we had to solve. Today, we can proudly say that 59 issues have been presented, have been resolved, and we've actually gone to the Public Accounts Committee to present these issues, and we appeared, and it's an ongoing process. But I want to say that this is what has been happening, and also we continue. Obviously, you always had some bad apples in the team and everything, but because of the policies that are now there, we will continue to make sure that we take them out of the new ZINARA. We also partnered with the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, and if you know, ZINARA is actually one of the first state enterprises to form an integrity committee. So now we can actually reduce fraud by detecting it before it's done. And now we are now publishing our revenues and our disbursements. I think most of you have also come to our AGMs. And remember the issues were that we are not holding AGMs, we are not giving you our financials. Now this is a thing of the past. I would like to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, for the vision and support he has given us in the road rehabilitation initiative. If you may remember, in 2021, after seeing the state of the roads in Zimbabwe, he declared the emergency road rehabilitation project, which has assisted us also to attain our vision, because this is what we are following. And obviously our great captain of the ship, Honorable Felix Tapiwa Mona, who has left no stone unturned in ensuring that the vision of the shareholder is implemented timelessly and efficiently. This is why you see him is always here, and we go with him across the country, because he wants to ensure that this vision is attained, and that's why he puts pressure on us. It will be remiss for me not to also mention the support and my appreciation to the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development. As you know, that ZINARA is not the only arm that funds road construction, road rehabilitation. Treasury, so it's ZINARA and Treasury. And I think we've been working so well and would like to thank. So like I said, I'll just give a brief overview, then I'll give it to the CEO. In the year ending 31 December 2023, which is about the last year, ZINARA collected a total of 868 billion Zimbabwean dollars. And it was against a revised budget of 768 billion. So we had to do a supplementary budget, I think sometime in August, so that we meet this. Out of this amount, 536 billion was channeled to road-related commitments, which will be detailed later in the CEO's presentation, and you can also probe. Allow me to share with you that in 2023, most local authorities acquitted themselves well in terms of utilizing the funds that we dispersed to them, and this is a testament of the positive results of our training workshops with the road authorities on proper utilization on the road funds. If you remember, we used to complain that the local authorities are not properly channeling the funds, and we have issues, but allow me to say that it is improving, and it's very important. For instance, we've got councils such as Kariba, Norton, Chipinge, Zimbabwe, and Runde, just to mention a few, who actually recorded a 100% utilization rate of the allocated funds. And of note is the good uptake of funds by road authorities, which closes 88% versus the allocated budget. This is commendable and progressive development, anchoring our 2024 expectations from the road authorities. In the year under review, we actually put in multiple measures for revenue assurance, and this has enabled us to improve our collection rate and plug in any leakages, like I mentioned. These have included the tightening of controls, investment in high-tech security infrastructure, as well as investment in culture modeling among our teams. The funds that we collect as ZINARA are meant for rehabilitation and maintenance of existing roads. And this is done through the road authorities. And we do not, according to the Act, we do not construct new roads. Furthermore, as ZINARA, we do not undertake the execution of road infrastructure projects. Rather, we only manage these road user fees and administer these through our partners, who are the road authorities. Some would want to call them the councils, but obviously we've got the DOR of roads and everything. So we work with these road authorities as members of the same team, pushing the same agenda and working collaboratively to achieve common objectives. And this is why there is need from ZINARA, from government, from the councils, that when we talk to the owners of the funds, we must always be factual and tell the people the correct truth. So in line with the statutory mandate that I've mentioned, we funded the maintenance of high impact projects in various parts of the country. And allow me to share highlights of some of the projects that were undertaken in 2023. We did in 2023, Harare did rehabilitation of about 31.6 kilometers, 18.18 kilometer asphalt overlay, 30.89 kilometers sport graveling, 411.78 kilometers pothole patching, and in terms of bush clearing, we covered about 1,962 kilometers. Some of the refurbished roads that quickly come into mind in Harare include, the Masosha, Masosha Ndlovu, Alps, Sloan, and Tilko Road in Stungwiza, among others. which all handle high traffic volumes on a daily basis. These were undertaken by the road authorities under the Harare Metropolitan Province, as well as the Department of Roads under the ministry. So the thing is that we've got the Harare City Council as a road authority, and it gets the funds. Then we also have the direct Department of Roads, which is housed at our ministry, which also gets the funding, as you see when the minister, the CEO here will be presenting. So the DOR, when they get funds, they can take over roads in Harare, Bulawayo, or Gwanda, and everything. So let's say if a figure is given that Harare receives these funds, you must also check the DOR. Did they also put funds in Harare? Did they also put it in Gwanda? But the CEO will go. Other projects outside Harare include, the Somgolo Bridge, which is 178 meters long. That was repaired at a cost of 62,000 US dollars. And the completion of this project has enabled improved access to critical services and markets, as that bridge, remember, connects Lupane and the Cholocho districts. Another key project was the rehabilitation of the 10-kilometer stretch on the Bingas Yakov Road, which was at a cost of almost 3 million US. The road connects three provinces, namely Matabeleland North, Midlands, and Mashonaland West. Furthermore, the road cuts back the current Harare-Binga route by 300 kilometers, so it then becomes effective and efficient. And remember, other projects, you covered the Rwenya Bridge, which was worked at the value of 869,000. And this bridge, remember, it connects Manicaland and Mashonaland provinces. However, as we continue to fund these key road projects, I want to urge our esteemed councils, or rather road authorities, to uphold the highest standards of quality. The works we deliver must be durable, reflecting the trust and investment of the Zimbabwean people. As you may be aware, the current suffered a significant road infrastructure maintenance gap, which is the new ZINARA. We are working flat out to ensure that we recover from it in the not so distant future. We are therefore cognizant that the money we collect and disburse for the core purposes of road maintenance may also not be adequate for the job at hand, but we'll try to make sure that each cent that we get, we account for it and they go to the disbursements. However, we are confident that if optimally utilized to implement high-quality roadworks, the available funds will steadily influence and gradually influence the sustainable transformation of our road infrastructure. You know, our roads are the backbone of our economy, and as such, they should be built to last, accommodating the traffic volumes of both today and tomorrow. Despite efforts that we are making to fund the maintenance of our road infrastructure, we are aware of concerns by some of the urban settlements which have remained in a bad state. And it may appear like Zimbabwe and ZINARA have turned a bad eye on them. Allow me to share with you that ZINARA funds are only used on the gazetted roads. And most roads in these new suburbs are not yet gazetted by the responsible authorities. The responsibility of constructing new roads remains a prerogative of respective road authorities through their internal budgets and other innovative initiatives. We have also noted that some housing developers are not fully servicing stands to ensure that all amenities such as roads and sewer are in place before people start building their houses. People just start building their houses, and in the process, you see now the roads are not there. But ZINARA is not mandated to do that unless these roads have been gazetted. So the developers would have made this. So we therefore duly implore our local authorities to strictly supervise these housing developers to ensure that they deliver quality and completed projects to members of the public. From a ZINARA perspective, it has always been our thrust to ensure that every dollar allocated and disbursed is accounted for and directed towards its intended use. To ensure sustainable maintenance of our roads, you heard our minister assuring the nation that the government will revive maintenance units across the country to ensure that the potholes and other road damages are urgently attended to. Let me now shift to one of the key aspects of this gathering, where I want to contextualize our revenue operations in line with our mandate. As ZINARA, we collect funds from various revenue streams that include tolling, vehicle licensing, fuel levy, and overload fees, among other revenue streams. I will focus mainly on one issue that has been topical, which is the vehicle licensing, where there has been some debate in some quarters that this revenue stream should be returned to authorities, local authorities. If you remember, the rationale behind collecting vehicle licensing fees on behalf of all road authorities was done to ensure that by centralizing this process, we achieve greater efficiency, accountability, transparency, and equitable distribution of funds. Contrary to the assertions that certain jurisdictions have huge motor vehicle population, you may be interested to know that figures from the Central Vehicle Registry Department, which is CVR, show that Zimbabwe has only 1.2 million registered vehicles. Of those, when we last checked, 800,000 are compliant in terms of licensing. And if I go further, maybe just to let you know that monthly ZINARA licenses an average of between 130,000 to 150,000 vehicles, which leads to amounts between 2.6 million US dollars and 3 million a month, and which is predominantly receipted in ZWO. In essence, with a compliance rate hovering around 60%, the revenues collected under licensing are far below those claimed to be collected. Furthermore, in the year under review, the licensing collection amounted to just over a third of the total revenue collected. The records show that vehicles, for example, I'll give you an example. The vehicles that are registered in Harare, from statistics, they are 300,000. But you know what happens now? Of these 300,000, some companies who are in Harare, we've got big companies that are, let's say FMCG, they register in Harare. But some of the vehicles will be plying their trade and going to other roads and using, and some are actually based in other towns, and they're headquartered there. But their operations are, like I said, are spread across the country where roads also need to be maintained. For the avoidance of doubt, all road authorities benefit equitably from the pool of funds that we harness from various revenue streams that we are mandated to collect. And yes, there has been a concern by other road authorities that it must be proportionate based on the number of vehicles in each city or town. And we've started the engagement process because it's a matter of the agreements between the urban councils and the rural councils to meet and agree, like the policy makers. If you may remember, the current formula being used right now was from inception, and it was derived from study and the recommendations from the World Bank. So for any deviations on the formula, formalities must be followed, which include a meeting of policymakers and those from the urban and rural councils, of course funded by ZINARA. Last year, for instance, when this debate started, we had an all-inclusive conference in Bulawayo, wherein all town clerks attended and came up with strategic resolutions that were forwarded to the respective policy makers. And I hope this explanation sets the record straight and help us to move forward with better clarity. As part of our stakeholder engagement initiatives, we also want to let you know that we carry out visits to road authorities where we discuss issues. I think on Monday, we're actually meeting several mayors, individually their councils. I think it's in Bulawayo, right? We'll be in Bulawayo, the team will be in Bulawayo. So, but we discuss also these issues, we show each other, we are transparent with each other so that one day we speak with the same language. As we begin the new year, which is 2024, our resolve and commitment is to enhance the capabilities of road authorities. It is not a secret that most road authorities are hamstrung in terms of fuel and road maintenance equipment. And you can all agree with me that most of the funds that we are disbursing to them are being committed to fuel purchase as well as plant and equipment hire. This is not a sustainable way of doing business, especially in the field of road rehabilitation and maintenance. So in view of this, we've buoyed a board resolution, and we're now exploring ways to address this situation whereby ZINARA plans to provide additional support to the road authorities by actually providing them with fuel. Instead of them, when we give them the funds that they buy fuel, we are now going to be giving the road authorities fuel. Obviously, there'll be, as per the disbursement schedules. And we also, in view of most of the funds, also, if you want to notice, when the road authorities are doing their projects, they hire the equipment. And we also have a board resolution of capacitating these road authorities, and I'm happy that the government has actually approved this, and now we're just start doing the modalities so that we see how the procurement method will be done. That we give road, they've actually provided the requirements. Obviously, it will start slowly, but at least if every road authority benefits from a piece of equipment that have been bought by ZINARA, it will help reduce the hiring costs. And this is part of our initiative for this year. And I know I would like to take this opportunity to thank the government of Zimbabwe for the tremendous support and guidance rendered to ZINARA in executing our duty. I think you all know, you saw that the recent coming into effect of SI5 of 2023 now allows ZINARA to upgrade and maintain tolling infrastructure as well as the environs. We highly appreciate this, as it empowers us in the administration to administrate our toll gates. If you remember, before the coming of this SI that came, ZINARA had no mandate. Even if you'd see my potholes at the toll gate, we're not empowered to fix them, obviously because of the laws that were there. But now if you see potholes with effect from this SI5 of 2023, if you see anything at the toll gates, the radius is within 1 kilometer, right? 1 kilometer of both sides, which we are mandated now to fix. So now ZINARA can actually fund the rehabilitation of that place, 1 kilometer from that side and 1 kilometer from that side. And we want to thank the government for this. So next time if you see it, blame it on ZINARA. And plans are already afoot to upgrade 3 toll gates to toll plazas. We're changing. I know people have been complaining on these toll gates, but we're changing them to toll plazas. And these are Skyline, Dema, and S-Bank. And I think some of you attended the groundbreaking of Dema toll gate, and the work is already commenced. Then obviously, topically, we talk about the NDS talks about ICT, digital economy. And there have been questions on our toll gates where people are taking a lot of time and they've been congested. The issue to do with e-tolling. I would like to let you know, and we are proud that it finally took off. And we would like to tell you that we will be rolling this before the end of the year. And the tender actually closed last week. The tender, we have to follow some procurement processes, but now we are happy that the tender for the e-tolling for ZINARA, which was an international tender also, whereby we had locals and internationals applying for this, to be part of this. So we'll let the procurement processes take their part, and it's a multi-stakeholder from government, from everything. So we are, if it is closed, and this will see us rolling out e-tolling before the year end. And I said, and this modernization effort will streamline toll collection, reduce waiting times at the toll gates, provide a more convenient and seamless experience for the motorists. I would like to rehash our commitment as ZINARA to ensure that in ensuring the effective discharge of our mandate in a transparent and judicious manner. And thank you all for the support. We shall continue to engage for the benefit of our nation. And please, like I said, correct us when you are wrong. Give us ideas. Let's reason together, as long as we remain factual. Because after all has been said and done, we are all Zimbabweans and we need development. I thank you all.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks to the board members, and we'd like to thank the ZINARA team and all the members from the 4th Estate for taking your time to come and spend your afternoon with us. We really appreciate it. I'll write on the elements that the Chair has already highlighted, and for us it gives us pleasure to present to you the disbursement report for 2023. And as ZINARA, we value the issue of transparency and accountability. And this is one of the virtues that we have now taken a deliberate decision to make sure that it is the lifeblood of our operations. In 2022, you may remember that we resolved that to publish the disbursements to road authorities as a way of acquitting the funds or your public funds that ZINARA collects on a day-to-day basis, and show you what it is that we collected, and also show to the public what it is that we've dispersed to the various road authorities. So today we'd like to share with you more detail, and the detail will entail where we show you what we collected, and then we'll also show you what we dispersed to various authorities. So in my report, I'll go over the figures, but as the head of corporate communications said, we'll share with everyone the detail so that you're able to have the detail and you're able to engage us. So as ZINARA, obviously, this issue of transparency is one element that we started off. And one of the areas that we are also regularizing is from a corporate governance point of view. 3 or 4 years ago, we were behind in terms of publicizing our accounts. We actually had a backlog of 3 years, and we are happy to say that we have cleared that backlog. We are now fully compliant from a governance point of view. We'll actually have our AGM in a month's time to make sure that we are now fully compliant and we're at par with other entities. The quarterly disbursement of these publications is a way of us also showing the motoring public that what they leave at the toll gate is something that we use in a responsible manner. In this current publication, we have sought to give detail and clarity on those issues that have been raised by various stakeholders in the past. And it is our desire that this report will go in a long way to all our valued motorists and stakeholders and give a clear view of what their funds are used for and how these financial commitments eventually get to the road. We're also going a step further by creating a section in our website. You will see later on in our website, we'll have an icon which will constantly update what we've dispersed. I know sometimes we've been waiting for a quarter, but going forward, we'll do it in such a manner that at any given week, once we disperse the funds to the public, you're able to go to our website, click and see where the funds have gone to. This we do so that the media can also help us in monitoring and evaluation of what these funds are used for. Sometimes we tend not to know what road authorities has received what and at what frequency, but with the constant update of the disbursement, it will also be easy for you as the media to monitor the various road authorities. Now, if we go to the revenue collection update, as the chair did indicate, ZINARA's gross fees collection in 2023 amounted to 868 billion. This was in comparison to the budget that we had there, which showed us being 13% above the budget. The revenue mix of our collections at ZINARA comes from our key revenue streams. 38% of the contribution came from the toll gate, so the tolling infrastructure is the major revenue stream. And then it is followed by licensing fees, which contribute 34% of that revenue. And in 2022, you will see that licensing had contributed 30%. Licensing revenue grew in the year owing to various initiatives that were undertaken by ZINARA to improve access and make sure that we collect responsibly. So as ZINARA, we also believe in collaboration, and the increase in the licensing was because we collaborated with various entities like the Central Registry, CVR, ZIMRA, and VID. This helped us to fully collect and also make sure that we are where the motorists are, and we make sure that the compliance levels are increased for everyone. The fuel levy and transit contributed 15% and 11% respectively. Overall, traffic volumes through the main revenue streams grew by an average of 7% against the previous year. So there was increase in the revenue collection, and that increase meant that there was more funds available for the road. If you look at the disbursement overview, of the 868 that we collected, 88% was 88% of collected revenue was dedicated to the road disbursement and went direct to the road infrastructure. This left the 12%, which was reserved for the administration to make sure that we have got a sound administration. The split in the two funds is something that we did as a corporate, as an organization, to make sure that we promote financial discipline and prudence in the management of the public funds. Road funds are allocated to road authorities in accordance with the disbursement formula as prescribed in the Road Act. The chairman did indicate that the road formula that we have is a scientific formula, and it being a scientific formula, there are some who like it and there are some who believe that they can do better. But the road formula is done to make sure that there is equitable distribution to all the road authorities across the country. The road authorities contributed in coming up with the formula, and there is a process that comes up when there is time for distribution of the funds. So it is the responsibility of each road authority to come with its road maintenance program. So the road maintenance program, they come from the road authorities. They don't come from ZINARA. They are then submitted to ZINARA and the Ministry of Transport for scrutiny. The Ministry of Transport, being the authority in charge of roads, looks at those road plans, and then ZINARA looks at the plans from a budget availability perspective. But then the road authorities, they are the ones that are on the road plans. The road plans, obviously, when it comes to execution, they come in two categories. So there's the routine road maintenance, which is the normal day-to-day maintenance of the roads. And as ZINARA, we do a quarterly disbursement to various road authorities vis-a-vis road routine maintenance. For the past couple of years, because of ERRP, the process has been different, but by and large, each and every road authority shares their road plan with ZINARA and the Ministry of Transport. So the routine maintenance is the first phase. The second phase is what is called periodic maintenance, where each road authority issues as an interim payment certificate to ZINARA for the works completed. It is after they complete the works that they then share their IPC with ZINARA. In addition to dispersing these funds, ZINARA also provides technical monitoring and evaluation support to all the road authorities through its provincial engineers. This enables that there is a check to make sure that we do not disperse funds for non-existing work. So our engineers are there to make sure that when we disperse the funds, we are dispersing the funds for work that has already been done. Now, if you look at the allocations, just to revisit the road authorities' allocations, the funds dispersed from ZINARA dispersed to 4 road authorities. In 2023, the amount that we dispersed was 219 billion, and the funds went to the 4 categories. The provinces with the highest uptake were Harare Metropolitan and Manicaland Province, who managed to claim 90% of their budgets. The lowest claims were from Bulawayo Metropolitan, Masvingo, and Matewe North, who assessed less than 65% of their budgets. But as the chairman said, there was a huge improvement from the road authorities. One of the reasons why some of them did not claim 100% was because we had a supplementary budget later in the year, and some of them were still utilizing the funds that they had, and they had to complete their project. But we have to commend most councils for a positive attitude towards them coming to ZINARA to claim their allocations. There is constant engagement with these local authorities and the Ministry of Local Government to make sure that we also help in training the various engineers at local authorities to be able to get the funds from ZINARA and be able to use these funds responsibly. Meanwhile, it is important to note that Department of Roads and REDA disbursements are implemented on roads across all provinces, thereby adding to the total disbursement amount channeled through road authorities in those areas. For example, road projects amounting to an equivalent of 40 million were implemented through DOR in Harare last year. Yes, Harare as a municipality got a certain allocation, but if you go to the books of the Department of Roads, you will see that 40 million of those was dedicated to Harare. So we do recognize Harare as being the capital seat and with the highest road network outside RIDA and DOR. One of the key usage of the funds that were collected by ZINARA was on the issue of debt management. ZINARA is still servicing the DBSA loan, which had previously fallen into arrears in the previous years. Under this new ZINARA team, the loan was restructured, DBSA was fully engaged, and we are happy to advise that we are now fully compliant and regular on this particular loan. In 2023, 229 billion was committed towards regularizing this loan and also making sure that we pay and service it fully. This significant payment reduced the outstanding balance to now what is equivalent to 65 million US. Remember, the total loan for this one was 206 million. Related to this was the payment of 108 billion for the maintenance of the plum tree to Forbes Road. So that road also is another road authority on its own, where the funds that we collect, we make sure that they maintain that particular asset. One of the usage also of the funds collected is on capital expenditure, and ZINARA's capital expenditure for 23 million stood at 6.9 billion. This was channeled primarily towards the upgrade of systems, digital transformation, as well as making sure that we collect efficiently. Most of you do appreciate the congestion that has been there at the toll gates and the need to polish up the licensing collections. So you find that the capital expenditure has been channeled towards making sure that ZINARA improves its systems. We collect lots of data as ZINARA for the country, and thus we're on an automation journey to make sure that the data that we collect, you can also have access to it, and it helps you in various services in your own environment. As we collect these funds, there are collection costs. Collection cost comprises of costs related to transaction fees, to IMTT tax, and the cost outsourced to revenue collection services and infrastructure. In 2023, the cost of collection accounted for 16%. This had marginally reduced from 17%. And this is one area that we take seriously, and we have been reducing it on a year-on-year basis as we introduce better automated ways of collecting. After the collection and the expenditure, there was a surplus in 2023. The year-end surplus was 57 billion. That was realized, representing a healthy position for ZINARA. The funds were surplus in courts, but these are the funds that belong to the road authorities. As we said previously, that some of the road authorities were still using the funds that they had collected and they had not finished, Thus, it saw us closing the year with 57 billion. Now, there's also the issue of administrative cost, which we have said that the administrative cost is 12%, and this involves everything from us buying the computers, the payroll, to running ZINARA, and to running all the aspects of ZINARA from the Bedbridge border and across the country, and all the toll gates that you see. In terms of the routine and the periodic maintenance projects overview, there was a marked improvement in the number of roads that were rehabilitated, and you will see there's a report that we'll share with you where we'll detail the actual kilometer that were done by each road authority across the province. And you'll see that these ones, obviously, they are in mainly three categories: the routine maintenance, the periodic maintenance, and then there's also the emergency maintenance, which we also take care of from ZINARA, where the minister can advise on authorize ZINARA to look at emergency projects. Looking ahead, in previous years, it has emerged that most road authorities have struggled to complete designated projects on time and within budget to the standard quality due to lack of equipment and fuel. The chairman did underline the intervention that ZINARA is coming up through. It is important for us to spell it out that a significant portion of the funds we have dispersed to road authorities has been used to hire equipment, and this is not sustainable as it robs the road infrastructure. Therefore, ZINARA has got a budget which will help us to equip the road authorities. This is meant to also speed up the turnaround time of fixing the road. A fully equipped road authority will make sure that when there is a pothole nearby, it will respond fast. And that's the reason why, as ZINARA, we believe that it's important for us to come in there and assist the road authority. On this, we are working with the Minister of Local Government, the Minister of Transport, and the Minister of Finance to make sure that this is done on this side of the year and it improves the road infrastructure. In addition to capacitating the road authorities, ZINARA will also be doing extensive work on the tolling infrastructure. The chairman has well explained that, and that obviously will dovetail with not just developing the infrastructure, but coming up with e-tolling and making sure that we've got express lanes. Those express lanes will see those that will have paid in advance managing to pass through the toll gates, and it will reduce the congestion that we usually experience on Fridays, Sundays, public holidays, and when schools are closing. In conclusion, as ZINARA, we are happy to say that we are working with all the government departments and all the road authorities to make the road infrastructure better. The 2023 disbursement summary reflects a coordinated approach in working with all the stakeholders, but also we have tried to think outside the box and come up with various ways of maintaining value and making sure that that which the road authorities get has got value, and they're able to at least develop and maintain the roads appropriately. The administration approach to revenue collection and cost management and debt servicing is something that we're proud of, and we'll continue to do it in 2024 and beyond, and give value to the community. The challenges moving forward will be to maintain the level of discipline that we have seen and that we're encouraging the road authorities to also maintain. There is lots of strategic planning behind, which obviously would want to share with you as we go. But for today, we will also share with you the report with the detailed summary. I will not go through the line by line, but we'll share the report with you because we want to give more room for you to ask questions, and then that which we'll give to you, you are able to then always connect with us. But for now, I'll leave it here and hand over to Tsungi. I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. He spoke to the feature that we now have on our website, where we are detailing the disbursements and giving updates there. So on the same page with QR codes, you'll also be able to access that link. I'll also invite you to please join our WhatsApp channel. Follow our WhatsApp channel. We also will be sharing updates on that platform. Thank you once again, Chairman and CEO. I would like to invite now members of the media fraternity here present. If there are any people with any questions, we will welcome questions at this point. Yes, Mr. Mtengeni.
Thank you very much, both Chairman and CEO.
So where are they coming from?
Okay, so if you could kindly introduce yourself in the media house you are representing.
I'm Byron Adonson Tingwende from Spike Online Media. Thank you very much, both CEO and Chairman, for presenting optimistic reports. But we are coming from the areas which are supposed to be saved by nice roads. I'll give you a good example. If you take this Seke road down to Chitungwiza Seke, up to 10 miles there, it's potholed, and there are local authorities who maybe who are in charge of those roads, so to speak. Does it mean that the money you are allocating them is not enough? Even if you maybe branch off from that road and go to the residential areas like Zengez, Unit N and so forth, there are potholes all over. Yet you are saying you are giving them money and they are utilizing up to 90%. Where are we losing the plot? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll take five. So we'll take 5 questions, and then Chairman and CEO will respond. I thought I saw a hand. Yes, madam.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Mundea from She Corresponds Africa. My question is on some of the milestones that you have traveled through as far as the Grondstone forensic audit is concerned. I understand that you have more or less implemented 90% of the recommendations. And as far as the issues of data concerned, you spoke about the progress that you've made. But my worry is you're doing your part as the new ZINARA, as you say. To what extent have you managed to recover debt that was owed to you through mismanagement, among other things that happened before you came in? You're doing your part to service your debt to others, but to what extent have you recovered money that you owed that went missing through unscrupulous means?
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. My name is Nathan Guma from the Newsworks. So, my question is, Zimbabwe is better placed. If you look at Zimbabwe, it's better placed to become a regional transportation hub. But then there have been challenges in some of our roads which are crucial for linking us to other countries. For example, the Harare road, and also there's been another road in Manika Lake which has been constantly flagged by Honorable Mtsiano, which took about 25 years. For the past 25 years now, it hasn't been finished. And so I want to know, I'd like to know, maybe if you can tell us what you're doing to service some of our roads so that we can become a regional transportation hub. Also, we can take advantage of it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. I'm Gamopasi from RTGS. I have 2 questions. The first one, it concerns your nice development. You promised that by the end of the year, you will have deployed the e-tolling system. But I know it comes at the cost of job losses. I don't know what's the administration's strategy concerning that. Then also, I don't know if you're at liberty to share in terms of your revenue collections, what portion was in your US dollar and Zim dollar split? Thank you.
Thank you. Then lastly, for the first 5 batch. Yes, Mr.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Owen from ZBC. My question is to the CEO. According to the statistics that you've provided, you collected 800 billion Zim dollars in revenue and paid 220 something billion dollars to just one debtor. Is it creditor?
Yes.
Is it feasible from a financial perspective?
Right. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the questions. I'll answer some, and then the chair will come and close the gaps. The first one from Spike Media, which was saying the potholes, and I think the question was looking at the allocation adequacy, to say, are you allocating adequately? I think this is a very fair question. So we are alive to the fact that a lot still needs to be done. I think we travel the same streets. There's a lot that has to be done. There's something progressive that is being done. So what we are highlighting here is the progress that has been done. But we do acknowledge the fact that there's still a huge gap that has not been done. In terms of allocation, we are not in a position to allocate 100% of what the road authorities require or demand. Our budget is in line with what we collect. So it is a fraction of what we collect that they eventually get. But if you go to their original road maintenance programs, they wish they could get more. But obviously the funding will be limited. So what we do push is that which they get from us, can they fully utilize and also make sure that the works are of a quality nature. If the works are of a quality nature and they utilize the funds, the next coming year they're able to go to a new road. So the reason why we've been underlining the issue of quality is so that they are able to cover as much ground as they can over the next 5 years. But if contractors or road authorities don't provide a quality job, we will continue to have the potholes that you're underlining. So to answer your question directly, we are allocating, but there's still a gap, and we are cognizant of that gap. What are we doing about it? We are engaging various financial institutions, locally and internationally, so that we're able to get more funding and be able to close the gap. But otherwise, for now, our call is that the local authorities, they get everything that is allocated and they use it adequately and in a responsible manner. With regards the second one, the Grand Thornton one, where the question is if we recovered on the debt. The debt recovery issues, they're actually falling under the 4 categories that are still outstanding. Why? Because these are now in court. So all those were taken care of. They are fully aware, those who owe, they've been advised, and the issues are in front of the courts, and we hope one day will come and give you the detail. But otherwise, they fall under that categories. And thank you for your observation on that one. Then there was the question on challenges on the roads linking in Manicaland, to say what is being done to service the roads. So the roads that are there, for instance, there are various categories of road. I think the chair did underline that as ZINARA, if you look at a place like Harare or Bulawayo, the road programs that the councils give us are for the roads that are already gazetted. By gazetted meaning the roads that have been fully serviced, fully launched, and they are now public roads. Those are the roads that then, when we are receiving the programs, they are factored in. So our call to the councils, our colleagues, has always been to make sure that all servicing of roads is done in a responsible manner, and there's no suburb that gets opened without servicing a road, because effectively the citizens end up being the ones that are disadvantaged. The one that you mentioned in Manicaland, I'm not sure which exact it is, but if you engage us after this, we can always let you know whether it's within the road program for Manicaland. But otherwise, what we'll also do going forward is to make sure that as we share with you, there will be a page where the road authorities are able also to share their road maintenance program so that the media is able to follow that and have current status on the roads. The roads being serviced, obviously, as we said, it follows the program from the council, and then they come to ZINARA to get the funding. But if we get further details from you, the technical team can tell you the status of this one. Then the question on e-tolling from Mr. Pasi is the e-tolling and also the issue on job losses. So as a government agent, we will obviously implement this one responsibly. Yes, e-tolling by nature, if you do it 100%, it does affect the job, that's a fact. But in our case, the strategy is that there will be a hybrid model for some time, vis-a-vis the kind of infrastructure that we have, and also the time it will take to fully roll it out. So there will be a hybrid model, and you'll find that on a toll gate, like let's say Goromonzi, you will have 2 lanes that are on e-tolling on either side. The guys who are currently there will still be there for some time. The strategy will continue to be reviewed as we go. Where we may have e-tolling maybe being independent is where currently there's no e-tolling at all, hypothetically. But where there are toll gates right now, there will be a hybrid model. And that hybrid model will make sure that those who are on e-tolling, they just drive through after doing the necessary payment. So as far as the administration is concerned, in the short to medium term, there are no jobs that will be affected. And then you asked the question on revenue portion to say how much of that was in US and how much was in Zim dollar. The FD letter will take you through, but in terms of the revenue streams, the tolling revenue stream is largely in Zim dollar. The licensing, though of late, the third part of the year, second part of the year, that's when we started seeing at least 30% of the income there coming out in US dollars. But the fuel levy is US dollar, and then the transit fees is US dollar. If you look at the percentages that I stipulated there, that 15 and 11, those are US dollars revenue streams. But the bigger revenue streams is mainly the Zim dollar element. Then the last one for now was from ZBC to say, how come you paid one data being DBSA all that money? So there are 3 key factors around this. The first one is that the large part of the payment was to address the arrears. So if you look at the monthly repayment, it's not to this magnitude, but because ZINARA had been behind in the repayment for a couple of years, the reason why there is such a huge amount were to repay the arrears. And secondly, the funding that comes to DBSA is also married to the seeded income streams, which is the fuel levy and the transit, being US dollars as well. So that loan was given in line with that, so which is why you'll see the amount being such a huge amount. But now that we've paid the arrears, so for 2024 results, you won't see this amount, because this amount now next year, that's where you'll see it coming to the road authorities. For this particular year, it was paying the arrears, making sure that we regularize the loan, and then this year that very same amount is going back to the road authority.
So how many years left before you pay off the loan?
The facility is running, FD correct?
2036.
Is running up to 2036, but now I think we'll follow through the 1.7 million that we pay per month. We hope that over the next 10 years we should be done. Just yes, next the chair.
Before he comes in, maybe to Mr. Owen also, just for you to note that these are the legacy issues we are talking of, and they will affect the future. And maybe to you, Nathan, maybe just to add what the CEO has said, that you also asked about Harare Chirund Road, and also obviously by deduction you also talk about Vic Falls Wange. This is where you see Treasury is running to mobilize funds, and as you have noticed, like we said, the minister is actually not here because he's assessing the progress of, 2 weeks ago, there was a groundbreaking ceremony on the Harare Chirundu project. So government is seized with those issues. And I think from Manicaland side, the road they are talking about must be Mount Selinda.
Yes.
Yes, and that one, yes, that big road, yes. So like maybe you also know that these roads, like what the CEO said, ZINARA, I think how many kilometers? ZINARA only rehabilitates how many kilometers?
232. We did two.
Yeah. So we then do this in conjunction with the Treasury.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are certain some ZINARA will only fund, but we hope with Treasury. So Treasury is in the process of actually mobilizing funds. This is the reason why you see last week you heard that bitumen is back in the road, the Victoria Falls Wange Road, and your Chirundu also there was a groundbreaking. Thank you. Next round. But the FD would want to talk on this question. On how much he was in dollars.
Thank you. So, as the Chief Executive has said, we have got transit fees and fuel levies that are seated for purpose of the DBSA loan repayment. The big one in terms of collections on the two is fuel levy and then transit fees. And for the year that we are looking at, from the two, we received 50.5 million. And then from the rest of the income streams, as mentioned, that from 2021, early 2021, we got a statutory instrument that allowed us to collect in Forex as well, depending on what the road user wants. And then late in 2022, we then got also another one to allow us to collect licensing fees on SEM. So from those particularly, and a few others where we pick lower amounts for the unseeded collections, we collected a total of 33.2 million, which gives us total Forex for the year of 83.7. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You also wanted the ZW.
Okay, I actually wanted to know the overall picture.
Proportion.
That ZINARA gets this percentage in US dollar and this much in the other currency.
I think that's okay. Yeah. So it's I think it's the US dollar. If you know, the transit, as we said, is US dollar. The fuel levy is US dollar, and then the rest is the portion that he has mentioned. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll take another round of questions. Yes, I'll start with you, sir.
Thank you for starting a press conference at the National Anthem. My question is...
if you would kindly introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Blessed Mtlan.
Okay.
I'm with the Newsday and Arkansas TV and radio. Is it possible for ZINARA and local authorities to have a joint press conference? Because basically, ZINARA holds a press conference and says, and indicates left and turns right. Councils hold their own press conference, indicate the other side, turn the other side. And you guys are never in the same room to validate this thing. And that continues to cause problems. Basically because we don't have a primary source of data. Like now ZINARA has just said there are 1.2 million vehicles. Council says there are 2 million vehicles on their streets in Harare. right? So I'm hoping that you can do that so that there's clarity in this cat and mouse game that you play, Stokes. My next question is, are ZINARA facilities and toll gates open to political campaign advertisement for all political parties?
All right, thank you, sir. I'll take the next question.
Political, this we put to agency.
Okay, it seems we don't have any other questions from the room.
Okay. No, thank you. Thank you. I'm sure you're also proud of your national anthem, but I think we have to be. So the joint press conference it's a noble idea. We actually do meet with the local authorities. We just don't do the press conferences when we meet. For example, on Monday, Tuesday, we will be with 3 local authorities from Lawayo, Material North, Material South, and then we'll obviously advise the other round of the workshops. So we work hand in hand with the local authorities. And one thing that we obviously always encourage is that sometimes from a political side is always prudent to when making comments for those doing so to liaise with their town clerks. If it's a city like Harare, or if it's a town with a CEO, to liaise with their CEO. As executives, we work with the executives there. We don't work with the politicians from those councils. But I think what is important also is that the data that we're giving you is the nationally recognized data. The 1.2 population of vehicles that we are giving you is what is available at the central registry. If you go to CVR, these are the statistics that are there. There is no other official statistic that is available. Anyone who mentions anything outside this is their own personal opinion. But these are the states that we have, and these are the states that we would like the nation to also look at and obviously work around. So there are not 2 million vehicles in Harare. There are 1.2 million vehicles in Zimbabwe. And the chair did say, and there are 800,000 that are licensed in Zimbabwe. Sometimes we can easily also, you will see on the sheet that we are going to give you, you will see tolling traffic, transit traffic. You will also see tolling volumes. So you will also be able to do your own analysis to see the number of vehicles that pass through the toll gates. So this is the data that you can use for your various issues, but we'll give you the states also for your consumption. And then, so we will work on something with the local authorities to see if we cannot, for the benefit of the public, have those joint conferences as we go. And then with regards to, is ZINARA facilities at toll gates open to political parties? So ZINARA does not own the toll gates. ZINARA operates the toll gates. So for now, obviously, there's an SI that has just been pushed through, which the chairman referred to. Those toll gates, all along, they are owned by the Ministry of Transport. So everyone who comes and does adverts, the Ministry of Transport has gotten advertising agents, and that's the advertising agents that they go through. They don't go through ZINARA. I can hand over to the chair.
Thank you very much. And maybe on the first question, Mr. Mhlanga, also what we've realized is as ZINARA, and this will be our way forward, is that even if we do something today and we talk, if someone says something after, it can also be believed. So what we've decided and said as a management is that from this press conference, anyone who feels like in your own publications you want exclusive interviews with the CEO, he's free. You liaise with there might be some issues that you want to discuss. So we're now, so that it's continuous. It's not just, you don't just wait for these quarterly press conferences. Whenever you've got information you want, I know there are different programs, interviews that you do at your respective publications. We are there at your service. Thank you.
Okay, I'll give one last call to any questions from around the room. Yes.
What is the justification for the steep increase in licensing fees, licensing and target fees?
You mean in ZWO?
No, for the US, for the target.
Okay.
There was increased from 2 to 4.
Yeah. No, thank you for the question. There are three critical reasons. I think the first one, if you look at the regional fees as well, that others in SADC are paying, we're still within the range. And also the need for us to give value to road authorities. I think if you look at the questions that you had, where your first question was, is the allocation adequate? And when we give you the figure, you're like, that's nothing. So it has to be in tandem with what is required by the road authorities for them to make a positive value. So this increase, going forward, you will see it filtering into the disbursements. And it is our hope that next time when we meet, you will at least see the positive impact of this particular one. But this money, all of it is not even going to the administration or what, but is 100% going to the roads. And so that's the primary reason, to make sure that we fast track the repair and the maintenance of the road infrastructure. And those funds, you will see they will be fully accounted for. I thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair and CEO. Thank you very much to those who have clapped their hands. Healthy conversations throughout. I would like to now invite our Vice Chairperson of the Board, Ms. Lizwe Bout, to give us her vote of thanks as well as a closing prayer. Madam, over to you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you very much on behalf of ZINARA Board and Management for coming to this press conference where you sought clarity, and we also were able to give clarity in very key areas in as far as the development of our nation is concerned. ZINARA is a proud fund manager that is working on a rebranding program, and part of this discussion is evidenced in that the rebranding exercise that we are doing right now. So we are happy that I can see the questions that arose from this program today were not as many as those that were presented on our initial press conference. It shows that there has been some improvement from both sides, the media side, in terms of the justifications and the clarities that have been presented to you before, and proven by the number of questions that have been presented today. I would like to thank you for the cooperation today, and I want to thank you for the future cooperations that we are going to receive from the media. And we are so grateful as ZINARA to be in partnership with with yourselves as the media. Thank you so much.
On subpart investigations. These are soil tests that we carry out below the existing surface to determine the engineering properties of the soil that's underneath the surface. The surfacing at 150 Dhara B, that's the surfacing. So it is the subpart investigations that informs us what we are to do with the pavement layers. So in this case, with variables pavement materials, with iron stone, with crushed stone, in some cases with ordinary gravel that was used. So considering the type of traffic that we've designed this road for, this material was not adequate to carry that traffic. This is why we want to river. What we will do is some of the stuff, like I said, it's variable. Some of the stuff is usable. So we'll take that stuff that is usable and use it elsewhere. Where you will see as we stop along the road, we'll use it elsewhere where there is poor quality material. We'll blend these two types of materials. It has to do with why we have dug up this place.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I am really greatly honored, Honorable Minister, to welcome you this afternoon to this tour of the Harare Chirundu Highway road works, which are starting right here in the heart of the CBD. As you are aware, as I've always said, Harare is the pulse of the nation. That's where you get the heartbeat. So hence, we are right here at Rutangwa Basarash. These past few weeks, there's been a marathon for the Ministry of Transport and all other stakeholders. Indeed, there is no room to look back while holding the plow, except just go forward and do the works as we are witnessing here today. We have to achieve what we have promised to the citizens. And thus, on behalf of the Harare Metropolitan Province, and with great pride, I applaud the commitment and support of all of you to continue to exhibiting by coming out here today. I have also seen members of the Residents Association who are here, who are always supporting the projects, Minister, and supporting our projects, as led by His Excellency, the President, Comrade Mnangagwa, in his vision on road infrastructure development, which is being translated into reality by his capable administration led by yourself and your team. Your presence here indeed shows and reflects the commitment to transform our country through infrastructural development, which is the bedrock for both economic and social development. We are here today once again because of the hard work and dedication being shown by the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development team, led by yourself, Honorable Minister, and your Deputy Minister, Honorable Saku. Your hard work will not go unnoticed. I will not forget, of course, the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport and Infrastructure Development, here represented by the Chairman, Honorable K. Kaitana, and the other various stakeholders, especially the engaged contractors, for their unwavering support. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to score big on infrastructure development, allow me to applaud the efforts of the Second Republic, ably led by His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Eugene Mnangagwa, in championing road rehabilitation and infrastructural development as we make those purposeful steps towards the attainment of the Vision 2030. Indeed, at this pace, Zimbabwe will surely indeed become an upper middle class country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Harare Chirundu Highway is part of the commercial route linking a number of countries, hence it is being given priority. The route serves countries on the northern southern side corridor, connecting Zimbabwe's two biggest border towns, linking the country with the regional countries such as South Africa, Zambia, and the DRC. The economic impact, therefore, will be enormous and will contribute significantly to our national GDP. As we continue to move together on this developmental trajectory, road infrastructure remains one of the key pillars that will drive and support the country's development towards economic prosperity. As envisaged by the National Development Strategy 1, today is a testimony of the efforts being put towards road infrastructure rehabilitation by the Second Republic as we build the nation brick by brick and stone upon stone. I commend your commitment and effort, Honorable Minister Mof and your team, Chair. To others, cooperation and teamwork will ensure that no one and no place is left behind. I hadn't seen him for years. So let us continue on this quest to improve the road infrastructure in Harare Metropolitan Province and the country as a whole. Once again, I thank you for being part of this tour as we witness the rejuvenation of our beloved country and the Harare province in particular, which is now on the forefront of this whole program. I thank you, Honorable Minister.
Let me also hasten to acknowledge the presence of our great leader for this province, Zisora President Mushauni we Harare, Honorable CZ Tawengwa. Nedare renyu ramafamba naro ndoti pamusoroi ndorangarira zvakare Honorable Knowledge Kaitano vanova ndo bosi wedu kuparliament vari in charge of Transport and Infrastructural Development Committee. Ndoti pamusoroi kana mina vamafamba navo pamusoroi PS tine ma-PS edu vaviri from the ministry achera and your team from the ministry, various departments. Ndoti pamusoroi vachiringa ndotiwo pamusoroi zvakare nedare ramafamba naro muchiperekedza Honorable Minister. Harare Residents Association, macomrades vari kuseri uko ndinoti pamusoroi maita basa munofamba nguva dzose muchiteera. Ndotenderawo vabva from Para State House vari pakati pedu ndoti pamusoroi. Ndotenda zvakare macomrades vemusangano uri kutonga weZANU-PF vari pakati pedu ndoti pamusoroi. Comrades and friends, 40 states, my good friends, not pamusoroi zvakare. We are actually delighted as a ministry. And yesterday when I was talking to His Excellency, he then said, I want you to go and descend on road infrastructure. So this is a directive. That's why we are here. And we are not going to be resting. You heard from the PS that we have got a network close to 90,000 kilometers. And we are attending to each and every kilometer. So the instruction is very clear from the visionary leader, the iconic leader, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Damzo Mnangagwa, that we must hasten and move with speed when it comes to infrastructural development. And we are saying at the end of the day, in any given economy, you need a vibrant, robust economy being championed by good infrastructure. Saka mchiona tichiuya tichivandudza migwagwa yedu kuitira kuti upfumi hwenyika. When you hear that Zimbabwe is one of the fastest growing countries in terms of the GDP or economic activities, it is because of infrastructure. It will then enable economic activities to be performed with ease. So we are here today to demonstrate to the people of Zimbabwe that we are not just attending to the SADC commitment. Let me correct there. It's not about SADC chet. It is about the infrastructure of the country as enshrined in the mantra ya president kuti ndisu tinovaka nyika yedu vene vayo. And precisely this is what we are doing. So you see us today, we are in Harare. Next week you see us in Matnorth, Masvingo, and everywhere. Meshini iri kungochema mugwagwa. So here is an opportunity to some of the people mamsat maona reclaimer ichibika tara. And others again, I always refer to the biblical Tobias, and you'd hear others saying, "Kova kuchera tara yakanaka vana vagutsikane." But ndosaka rati engineer chitaurira vanhu kuti inombochererwei. Zvakunzi vakuchera tara yakanaka. Asi tikasaichera tikagadzira, mangwana pakaita potholes marodhi avanta mapotholes. So this is human beings, and we acknowledge that we are different. But what we are saying as a ministry, we are not going to be sitting in offices. Why? Because basa redu rinowanikwa kunze kunyanya. Because zvinotobva makuseni tiri maoffice now tamufield. This is how we are going to be progressing as a ministry. And I want to thank the Honorable Minister in our midst. On a short notice, tingasangana irena 2, same applies to the chairman of the portfolio committee. Tingasangana irena 2 zvikanzi aiwa basa ngarifambe mberi. This is the work ethic of the Second Republic. Kuti vanhu zvido zvevanhu kunyanya pamberi ndo zvinosimudzirwa nehurumende inotongwa nababa vaMnangagwa. Saka we are here just to fulfill the wishes of the citizenry. Kuti migwagwa yedu inge iri migwagwa inofambika zvakanaka. So I'm happy that today we are going to be demonstrating kuti reclaim rinombofamba sei. And what we are doing, others will ask kuti kutangira pa post office. This is Chinese Zero. Ndopano maroad edesa anomejwa achibva pa post office. Saka you see the Chirundu, Harare Chirundu road, where we are starting again from the post office. Saka you see shortly another team mobilizing. And the section is with Tensa. So you will see next week going forward. Tensa inenge chibva pa post office chidzika yakadai. Yakugadzira road kuti tinosangana nekumbudzi interchange. Zvichireva izvo kuti hapana gwanza richasara. Same applies. You also see another contractor doing the Chitungwiza road ichibva pa post office tichienda, showing that we are connecting nzvimbo dzese. So this is the agenda of the ministry. Kuti migwagwa yedu hatisi kuzozorora kusvika migwagwa yedu yaita zvakanaka. But again, humble plea to the people of Zimbabwe. Our resources are constrained. We are tapping into the fiscus, but we'll continue thinking outside the box, where we also need to lessen the burden from the fiscus and also think of other funding modalities. Ndosaka mchiona tichiuya tichita ma-triple Ps. We are also inviting other players so that we partake the same project together, being innovative kuti maroads edu agadzirwe tisangomirira mari inobva kutreasury. So I'm happy that today this is the agenda, and you see the bypass. We need to disseminate information kuti iende already in the social media. Pakadaika vamwe havatane kukachukira maprojects evamwe. Project iyi ndeyehurumende iri kutungamirirwa napresident vaMnangagwa. Kana tiri mumaguta mega tinoziva kuti maguta mune macancelors, mune vanoshanda varimo. Asi project haisi kuva necity of Harare. Let me be clear. It's under the program yehurumende. Isusu ndisi varidzi vemigwagwa yese chero yecity of Harare iri under the Ministry of Transport. Tikaona kuti havasi kugadzira mugwagwa tinomboutora tokugadzira tokuti chiumaintaina iwewe local authority. Ndo mashandiro anoita hurumende. Asi zvoreva izvo kana tiri muno muHarare ichokwadi tinodyidzana nemacancels. Zoreva tinovaudza kuti hakufamba tikadai, but zvinofanirwa kuzobuda kunze ndezvezvinangwa zveruzhinji rweZimbabwe. Tichitenda mhuri yeZimbabwe kuti mari dzamunounganidza dziye ndo dzatinenge tichida kuti tishandise homwe tichibatsiridzana kuti migwagwa yedu ite zvakanaka. But we are here to demonstrate that we are not electioneering. I always say this. We are here to demonstrate seriousness when it comes to infrastructure. So you see us again. Kuti wapata furo napo kana muri mugutawo ndobva ndakumbirawo zvakanaka kuti chivako chako kana chisina kunyatsotaridzika zvakanaka ko kubva wangopendawo kana parufuro mugwagwa wakanaka chachikumbiro cha harisi basa reMinistry of Transport. Zvakanaka kuti musho wavandudzwa watsvairwa iwo unobva wagadzirawo chivanzi chako kavanhu vaona zvakanaka. So this is something that we are also doing to say, as we then move, we also have a problem of mabanners ari kungogadzwa mugwagwa. Hatingodzimikira mabhana mugwagwa tisina authority. So you see us again cleaning our roads. You see us again from the airport. Tichange titsvaira mugwagwa yedu tokuimbirawo ruzhinji rweZimbabwe tisangorasa tsvina. Zvinoita ndezvoti tsvina yedu inoenda madrainage yedu madrainage yedu ozotadza kufambisa mvura zvakanaka. So we are here, comrades and friends, to my good friends again, the fourth estate, the ambassadors. Disseminate information. Yofamba zvakanaka. Toziva kuti tarima mugwagwa tazvirimirei. Chataita ndechekuti muzive kuti road inombogadzirwa sei. So we also have an indava yekuti road kana ichanga kugadzirwa, kana iri gravel road ichivandudzwa, kana inga iri road yanga ine tara, zvinomborevei kuti tara izomisikidzwa, ma-stages anenge ari involved akamira sei. So I'm sure we can also have that interaction, and my team is there to articulate such issues. But I want to thank you once again for coming. So you see us kuti as we then move from here, tichawana other routes zamanzwa kuti kuri kutogadzirwa basa riri kutofamba izvozvo. But today